Okay, I think we can go ahead and start as, of course, more people are joining. Mateus, could you please share the slideshow?
Hello, Christina. What slide are you looking for?
Yes, the screen. Ah, okay, sorry. It's can everyone see the screen? Okay, I had an issue on my side, but now I can see it. Okay, that's a yes. Great. Okay, so we will be going ahead as people are still joining. So welcome everyone to the BIC Africa Online Capacity Building Training 2026. Today's session will be focusing on emerging trends in entrepreneurship and using digital and AI technologies in incubators. So we have with us today experts from SPI, a Portuguese consultancy company. We have Douglas Thompson and Mateus Avila. Thanks a lot for being here today and leading this session. We really appreciate it. For those who don't know BIC Africa yet and don't know us, my name is Christina Dax. I'm the project manager, and I'm here today with my colleagues Robert Sanders and David Dagenel, who are supporting the sessions as well. Next slide, please. Great. So to walk you through the agenda, again, to give you context, this session is targeted at business incubator managers from the 5 BIC Africa target countries and also for incubator managers from other sub-Saharan African countries. The agenda is the following. So firstly, in part A, we will cover foundations and emerging approaches in entrepreneurship. Then part B will be focusing on using technologies inside an incubator. We will also have a short break of about 10-15 minutes, about midway throughout the session, so about 1.5 hours in the session. Afterwards, we will get to part C, which will focus on AI inside ventures, and finally part D, focusing on how can incubator models be redesigned for new technology. Next slide, please. Right, so again, since we have a mixed audience, we will shortly introduce the BIC Africa project for those of you who are probably not yet familiar with it, and then we will dive into today's session. So, BIC Africa is actually part of a larger EU program called Support to Entrepreneurship and MSME Creation. This consists of 5 different country projects. Each of them are aiming to establish and consolidate business incubators in their respective countries with the long-term impact of creating jobs and sustainable livelihoods. So as you can see on the map, the 5 countries are Angola, Comoros, Ethiopia, Madagascar, and Somalia. And in each of them, the respective projects are led by different partners. So in 3 cases, UNIDO. For Ethiopia, it's SEQUA, a German consultancy company. And in the case of Angola, it's IFC, which is part of the World Bank. So BIC Africa is an additional project which aims to create a regional network and aims to interconnect and create synergies essentially between these 5 country projects, while also providing complementary services to the incubators involved in each of the projects and also beyond. Next slide, please. So this is a little bit sort of the vision and mission really of the BIC Africa project. The idea is to support business incubation, build innovation bridges, and to foster inclusive, decent job creation via partnerships between Africa and Europe. Next slide, please. Who are the beneficiaries of BIC Africa? We foremost work with business incubators. Most of our services are really dedicated at business incubator staff and managers. But eventually, of course, it's for the benefit of the entrepreneurs, SMEs, and startups who are incubated in those business incubators, who therefore benefit from the fruits and the results of the project. And on the way, we also work with a number of other stakeholders. We work, for instance, with the EU delegations in each of the countries, with policymakers, business angels, universities, and other actors. Next slide, please. Right, and again, to give you a glimpse and a short overview of the type of services we provide. So firstly, we have capacity building and skill development services, such as the virtual training today that is part of our broader so-called virtual training center. And we also do what we call national and African boot camps. So the idea here is, again, to provide trainings on best practices in incubation in the 5 countries for the incubators from those countries, and to also share the knowledge of various experts in the field from Europe and beyond. Secondly, we have services that focus on creating better connection, such as soft landing and staff exchange. So hereby, we've created exchange programs of about a week between African and European incubators, and also inter-African exchanges, for instance, as an example, between Comoros and Madagascar, with the idea that these incubators can see how their respective business models work and create collaboration between each other, learn from each other. Then we have what we call BIC Africa quality assessment activities. This is based on the EBN model. So we help business incubators assess their own services and benchmark themselves with respect to other incubators in Africa. We've also run diaspora and networking activities. So hereby, for example, we've had various webinars to which we invited successful entrepreneurs from the African diaspora based in Europe and the USA, and enable them to connect with local entrepreneurs from the African countries. So this is just in a nutshell about some of the BIC Africa core services, but we do other things as well, of course. And yeah, happy to connect. We will be sharing also our email addresses. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. So without taking any more time, I'm happy to hand over to Douglas and to Matthäus to really dive into today's session topic. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much. Maybe the next slide, Matthäus. Before we introduce just ourselves, again, thank you to BIC Africa for the invitation to join you today. Thank you to EBN as well for its activities in operating BIC Africa. Of course, the biggest thanks is for the participants today. I know everyone is very busy. Everyone has other things which they need to do with their time. So we're very, very, very pleased indeed that so many of you can join us today to talk about a subject which is, I think, very interesting for us and hopefully for you as well. Let me just introduce who we are. First of all, I'll introduce my colleague Matthäus. He'll be speaking in a bit, so I'll let him introduce himself later when he starts that process. But he works here at SBI, Sociedade Portuguesa de Inovação, which is where I work as well. Matthäus is very involved in digital marketing, in IA, use of IA and use of digital techniques within all types of organizations, with experience of implementing these aspects throughout the world, including Europe, Africa, and Latin America. So I'm very pleased that he could join us today to discuss some of his experience and knowledge in especially using, for instance, AI tools. I myself, my name is Douglas Thompson. I'm the manager of the international area of SBI. Have been very involved in BIC Africa for a number of years now. My background is as an economist, initially developing networked industries and then moving on to innovation, science, technology, and entrepreneurship. So maybe I could go to the next slide. Just to run over the agenda today. One of the things we wanted to say is that, and I think this is as people would like, we want to focus today a bit more than perhaps is obvious from the agenda on AI, on how what AI can do, how one can use it within an incubator and other types of organizations as well. And this is really where Matthias's expertise is focused. So today, as I said, Matthias, who's a very understanding of AI and digital technologies in general. And also, you might remember previously, he also led a session on digital marketing under the BIC Africa online training about a year and a half ago. So the nature of the session today is, of course, we want to maximize the interactions. It, Sometimes we do that via worked examples together, but I think this time it's more that we want to be able to understand and hear your experience, your questions as we go through the different tools and the different aspects. So please, at any point, please raise your hand and we'll call you in, of course, for a question, or put your question into the chat, and we're happy to either discuss that directly, or again call you in to explain whether it's a question, whether it's a point, whether it's an example of experience. The slides will be made available, obviously, afterwards. We've designed the slides to be to use them as a driver of sort of an aide memoir as well of the conversation that we're going to have today. Again, really want to highlight the questions, and please do put your hand up. Please do write things in the chat. Maybe we can go to the next slide. So initially, we wanted to start, and I will do this very initial part of just some foundation, some context of where we find ourselves at the moment, before we get into individual specific tools and other aspects. So part A is foundations and emerging approaches in entrepreneurship. Next slide, please, Matthias. Yeah, actually, I think this is a good time to do this. Let's have some interaction straight away. Before we get into the context, maybe we can show you. There's a slide over there. Maybe if you've got your mobiles ready, or I think into the chat, we're also putting the link. Thank you, Matthias. We'd appreciate just understanding what people's level of experience is with AI. Of course, we can then make sure that we tailor the rest of the rest of the session to ensure that everyone then can be catered for. So if that's okay, maybe say Matthias, you've put the link there. Thank you so much. If people can either copy the link and use their computers, or use their mobile devices via the QR code, then we would appreciate it. We'll leave it on for a little bit longer so people get it. Matthias, yep, you can, if you can open it just now. That's great. Thank you for so many people answering, and I know it takes time to answer these things, so we really appreciate it. At the moment, we've got about yes, two-thirds, maybe up to two-thirds medium, the rest low, and a little bit on high. I think this is a very good. This session, Matthias, I think is well designed then for people with some level of understanding, either none or some level of understanding and experience in AI. And maybe we just wait for a couple more minutes to see if anyone else wants to answer. Sorry, a few more seconds, I mean, rather than minutes. So it is getting to around the two-thirds medium, and the rest mainly low with some high. Nobody has said that they have no experience at all. I think that's also good. That's also good to know. I think we use AI, of course, on our day-to-day basis, and in many different things. Okay, can we go back to the slides, Matthias, please? Excellent. Thank you. Excellent. So just some idea. The first idea is to explain that the two contexts in which we're looking at today's work. So, first idea of obviously there's been a huge amount of increasing in global connectivity. So it's much easier now for entrepreneurs, for new companies to operate on an international basis, even small, even at the small scale, to reach international customers, in talent as well, to get staff, etc., and connections to support their activities, and indeed partners, really from the first day, using digital techniques and global connectivity. Aligned to that, there's also in terms of developing new products, and if people who were here at last week's session, Susanna Ciabra talked about new products development, and of course the global connectivity and technological aspects allows for much quicker now experimentation development of prototypes. Also, we spent a lot of time actually in the last meeting understanding of how to get feedback from partners, from customers, from clients, from other types of stakeholders, and of course, you're using some of these digital techniques. It's far. I wouldn't say it was easier, but it is now possible to get that type of feedback more quickly, more completely, and perhaps in a wider sense as well. So these are two aspects which will serve as a basis for today's presentation. The next slide, please, Matthias. We also want to introduce the idea of cross-border and diaspora entrepreneurship dynamics. Christina at the start talked about how BIC Africa has in fact has got certain sessions and webinars and information sharing between diaspora. It's been a key aspect of BIC Africa from the start. And what we've been finding, of course, is with an increased amount of connectivity and digital techniques, it's easier to access and to find connections via diaspora entrepreneurship, using these aspects to link people, link founders, link entrepreneurs, link SMEs to new talents, capital and markets, of course, which of course is a very key aspect, and enabling really from very early days ventures to expand beyond national limits. The examples we've been having in some of the previous diaspora focused webinars indeed identify but some of the new products, some of the new ideas, some of the new companies are already focusing from day one on international markets rather than local or national markets. The networks developed, they build trust, they share knowledge, they help partnerships, and therefore accelerate growth. So the digital context and the international focus of that digital context is another very interesting, I think, background to today's session. Absolutely. The next slide. So we also, I think, as background, want to talk about ventures, but they're being impact driven and mission oriented, so they can build on the sort of cross-border diaspora dynamics to on a sort of a mission by mission basis expand internationally. I think also, I think many of the entrepreneurial activities that your incubators are supporting, and certainly which we do from our consultancy point of view, more and more are looking at social and environmental impact and social and environmental needs and social and environmental business models. So more and more we're finding that that's an aspect which underlie what entrepreneurship and our support to entrepreneurs are doing. Of course, we need data though, we need analysis, we need information to understand, well, the available connectivity and technologies allow entrepreneurs to reach across different markets, to reach across different countries, to reach across different sectors, different types of clients and customers. But which regions, partners and actions should be focused to achieve the best immediate and long-term results for your clients, for your entrepreneurs, for your incubated organizations, i.e., how do they use data to ensure the best access or the best way to fit into the most effective market position for them. So I think maybe we can go to the next slide, which we just want to introduce briefly some data, data-informed decision making. So how, and of course, this is going to be key to what we're going to be talking about later on. So it's continuing, in our case, the internationalization aspect, how using digital technologies, but then using how to access and use and analyze data to make those best decisions. So using, for instance, data-informed decision making. So using evidence which you can gain to guide choices through, and how do you collect it? Again, in the last session, Susanna went through some very interesting ways to survey and to access possible clients, possible customers, to gain information. And what Matthias is going to go through as well, and it was an extension of what we did previously as well, is the types of tools which can be used to analyze such metrics, to track trends over time, to help you assist your incubated organizations to identify the best markets. In the second part of a slide, of course, you can use digital tools to compare markets and to adjust quickly to changing market signals. For instance, by analyzing the signals, we also might be interested in conversion rates and differences in consumer behavior. These obviously will impact on entry strategies, on what is being offered, how easy it is to scale the partnerships, and also, of course, how to reduce risk, or at least how to mitigate for the risk that, of course, is always going to be there. Some of the tools which I won't go through. I'll let Matthias, and the next slide, Matthias. I'll let Matthias talk about these in the next parts of the session. But these are some of the tools which we use, and which we would advise people to use in terms of making data decision making using data analytical tools. As I said, I don't intend to go through these. I'm sure you've heard of them all. I don't, and I'm sure you use other ones as well. I don't intend to go through them as well. I think as we go through the more practical aspects of the next sub sessions, then we'll of course go into them in more detail, and indeed expand on these data informed tools, but also on other more specific AI aspects as well. Perhaps going then to the next slide. Automation of business operation. Again, this is another trend in what we've been seeing in overall in the digitalization and the technologies used by business incubators, but also by entrepreneurs themselves. So efficiency is obviously critical for startups. Startups have entrepreneurs have limited resources. So the idea is that automation of certain tasks, which potentially might be lower value creating and more repetitive, allows your entrepreneurs to focus on the higher value tasks. Now that's including automation tools, which even if you don't have, for instance, like I don't have the coding background or have a low coding background, but you can still use these automation type tools, even if it's a very small organization, and even if the skills of the individual entrepreneur are not focused on how to create the automation by themselves. So they can use the practices, they can adapt the practices, they can adapt the tools to their own specific circumstances, and improve operations, especially in an ever-changing conditions. So as the slide says, so if you use automated tasks, then that it can improve data-informed decision making. It can quicken responses. It can allow ventures to have the information and the ability to streamline and to respond and to respond quickly. The idea, of course, to have an efficient expansion. We're focusing on international expansion in this slide, but of course, it's just as relevant for local and national expansion as well. Can we maybe go to the next slide, Matthias? So, and again, I don't particularly want to go through these automation tools as we go through the rest of today. They'll come up, I think, naturally. Maybe you've heard of Mailchimp. Maybe you've heard of Salesforce. We certainly use Mailchimp for personalized campaigns especially for our digital marketing focus. We use Mailchimp into a large extent. Salesforce itself, of course, is a sort of a management tool for customer relationships and to manage sales pipelines or automatically. It also helps, there are also tools helps for streamlining financial processes and other aspects of the operational efficiency of your incubated entities and indeed of your incubators. Of course, at the moment we're talking a little bit more about incubated entities, but as we're open to all questions of how individual incubators can use these tools as well. For instance, to create new clients, to develop their business models, as well as to help their incubated businesses. Okay, perhaps go to the next slide. So that's what I wanted to introduce to give a context. We have a time now, which of course we can answer any questions about the context in which we are going to act today. I'd be very appreciative if anyone wanted to put up their hand or had a point or would like to ask a question in the chat. Can I open the floor up to see if there are any questions, any points, any relevant comments that people would like to make at this time? Don't see any at the moment. No issues. That's not a problem for us at the moment. Of course, just please make them as you go through. Maybe we can then, if that's the case, we can go to the next slide. And I'm going to hand over, Matthias, I'm going to hand over to you now to start the idea of how to use Incubator, and sorry, technology inside Incubator, and then we'll go to the points about the practical aspects. There's a question I saw. Just let me make sure we got that. Thank you to present some best practices in helping entrepreneurs. Yes, I think Matthias, as you go through, of course, the point is to provide some examples of, for instance, how what can be done, and some of the best AI tools. That's exactly how I think, Matthias. I think that's correct. That's how we've structured today's session to talk about the best AI tools, and we can talk about some examples of how they're being used. So thank you for those 2 points. I really appreciate it. Matthias, maybe I could hand to you.
Yes. Thank you, Douglas. So just complementing a bit the question. Yes, this is one of the biggest part of this presentation today. And it will be in part C when we focus on this and we can talk directly about each tool. If you have any questions about the tools and anything else, we can go through during section C. Right now, in the section B, we are talking about a bit going one step back of AI, but because AI itself, it's not something that can solve all problems. It needs some layers of technology, it needs some layers of information, it needs some layers of understanding so we can properly use AI in the most efficient way that we can. So some years ago, I would say 50, 60, or even 30 years ago, the concerns of an incubator were really different from what we have today. It was a lot focus on office, a lot focus on a structure, a place, equipment to support this place, to support incubators in local. need a really high upfront capital, and it was always focusing on the local market because that's what we had around. Like incubator in south of Brazil would not focus on the international market because it was impossible to get into an international market without the proper structure, the proper investments. And this is something that not only with AI, but it changed with the technology itself. Now we have the internet, of course, that we can develop software as a service that we can sell to everyone in the world using different languages, different structures, and adapting really easy, not easy, but really fast to each specific market. And especially nowadays, we have cloud infrastructure, APIs, that instead of us having a local server, a really expensive one, we can hire other companies to be responsible for our server, to calculate our data or their data in their infrastructure. And this changed a bit how the incubator itself are the concerns of incubator itself. Instead of having a really focus on the place that they are and the equipment and the structure of they have at a place, they can think in a global reach. They can think about how can we make this as scalable as possible. How can we create value not only local but international? So we are going to present some layers of concerns of what technologies an incubator should try to adopt, should try to think, so it can go further for AI in the further part of the presentation. So the first layer is connected with the startup management and tracking. In the sense, uh, instead of having, I'll go back a little bit more. Uh, Remember when those spoke about data? This is something that is the most important thing that we have nowadays within the informational world. So in each layer, we are going to try to think about what are the informations, what are the data that we can collect and we can use for not improve it in the short term, but it's as incubator in the medium and long term. So in the management side, we can use some tools as Airtable, Notion, August that will support us, will help us to collect data, organize this data, these informations, define milestones, define organize in the simple, but it's at the same way really structure to each one of the startups that are inside our incubator. So the idea here is to use these tools, not to centralize the startup data and help us to monitor the progress, to see what are the gaps, to see what are the points that are needing more time, what are the issues that they are having, and use this as support for the management and also tracking the informations that we are defined as important, that we saw as most relevant, and use this to have data-driven decisions. The second layer is common. It's I think nowadays it's most basic part of not all incubators, not all startups, but everyone's work. That is, we need to have a proper structure of communication. We need to have a way to manage to speak inside groups and speak inside teams that is not only clear and fast but also efficient. So we have Slack and we have Microsoft Teams that both of them can be used for this. They have difference. Like Slack is really common on the technological side because it has a proper structure for managing projects in a bigger perspective. Like you can have a Slack for a company that will have channels for each project that you are developing, and inside each channel, you can add documents, you can organize different chats of conversations, and it's kind of common to have it in a tech company. It's a bit more uncommon in a traditional company, but still it's a tech, they are different technologies for different demands for this layer of communication. The third layer, that is the mentorship and support orchestration, that is involved with the provide one of the service, one of the activities that are the really one of the main ideas of incubator. That's provide knowledge, provide mentors that will support the startups to reach their maximum potential. And some tools we can use as examples is a Calendly just for scheduling and organizing, and the mentor clip for manage the mentorship programs to match you the right mentor with the right startup. And it can also use create to generate data of engagement and understanding how this relation between startup and mentor is going to. The fourth layer is the data informed monitoring that we have in this one locker and table, but the most two biggest and relevant ones for this layer are Power BI and the previous two that we were presented in the Douglas presentation. Because when we have a lot of layers of information, when we have a lot of different perspectives, different concerns in an incubator, we collect a lot of different informations that can be thousands of lines, thousands of columns, and we need technologies to understand it and to organize it. And this is a really strong demand for AI. We are going to talk about this later, but when we have this properly structured, organized in a way that AI can read, AI can understand, it will help us to properly use this data to better decisions, to more efficient decisions or decisions and getting insights that will take a lot of time seeing different numbers, analyzing, that AI can make it really faster if we use it properly. Uh, Other side, other layer of concern for the technology is for the technology side in incubator is the program delivery and the learning. That the Moodle, I think, is the biggest one that is used for delivery courses, training programs, support and structure, and it has a really good connection with courses that you are developing inside your incubator that can match specific issues that you're finding in startups that are part of your ecosystem. So it's a system that can give you a structure that you can adapt specifically for what you need. And Touch Table, it allows you to create these courses and also to deliver other different training contents. So these 5 layers are layers that incubator should think before going to the site. And also can do is at the same way as going for AI side, because a lot of the softwares already has some AI features inside of them, like the Microsoft Teams has Copilot, uh, the Power BI has some AI tools as well, and but they are the idea here is like to understand what are the bases, what are the structure that we need to go through to go for the AI and to use it as most efficient as possible. But with the technology, we have, of course, concerns about the dependence of it. If we have a structure that are highly dependent of technology or digital tools, we need to have some concerns and understanding how can we not make it fully on technological side, like how we can create layers of protection that our service, our business will can handle if one specific tool fail, or if one specific tool is the server is not working, or the company is changing the service provider that we are using. It's changed the objective, so the software is changing. And we can have a good example with Windows that is constantly adding the different features. They are constantly trying to reach different markets and increase the potential of the software, the operational system. And it may, with time, taking a lot of your computer's potential. So maybe you should think about a different operational system that will not be as demanding as Windows. And you need to be aware that changing the operational system, you need to use a lot of different a lot of different softwares. And this is a concern that you will need to always have in mind. You can use it, you can be efficient in one software, but you cannot depend only on the software. Okay? You need to think about different possibilities and different ways to deal with the same issue that you're trying to do. And when we have softwares that are increasing the price fast and high because of AI, mostly because AI needs a lot of investments to improve, mostly right now, because they're trying to win a run, mostly. They're trying to be the best AI as possible. The price is increasing, it will may change how you need to work with it, how you need to deal with these technologies change. So we end up the part B.
Sorry, Matthias, before we go on,
Yes, of
we've
course.
got some questions and some points. No, it's okay.
Okay.
I just want to go over some of the questions and points that have been made in the chat. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, not necessarily in chronological order that they were provided, but the ones in which I've made a note of it. So one of the first points was, how can automating business operation tools be practical and an innovative solution for organizations with limited resources, without compromising efficiency and process control? Let me give my thoughts, and maybe Matthias, if you have any thoughts on top of that. So my thoughts would be as follows. Thank you for the question. First of all, I mean, it's not that you want to start at, I would say, at the micro level, the sort of the micro automation level. So starting with some very simple processes, which might be termed to be high friction process, or simple processes like contract generators, invoice approvals, sort of workflow type activities, where even in it sounds simple, but these save the entrepreneur and the incubator manager so much time by starting with those simple tools. And you want to, yeah, that you will probably want to also start with the low cost tools, which are very modular, very sort of module based in their implementation. And I think already Matthias has go through some more, but I mean, even project management tools like Trello or HubSpot for CRM type tools. There are lots of accounting integration tools, Xero, etc., which are also available, and they tend to require less IT infrastructure, and the focus is incremental there. So you can scale up your automation at the speed and capacity that you wish. The other thing I might mention there is also especially for small organizations, mitigating the risk of implementing automation. So how to avoid effectively over automating and losing control, which I think is one of the points which was being made in the comments. So the idea is it's to provide processes which are not strategic, don't require strategic interactions in nature at every time the process is implemented. So, it's not that it's a human-led commitment. The human-led commitments can't be automated or are much more difficult to be automated at the start. But automating semi-automating draft reports and then reviewing before submission, for instance, is one of the easiest ways to try to implement automated approaches and automated tools whilst reducing risk, because at the same time, you've really got to make sure that the systems you are using are not overly complex so that only one person understands them. Really, the relevant people in the organization, relevant support the relevant people at the incubator, relevant people at the incubated company really should have shared knowledge of how these automated tools are being implemented. There were other questions as well, Mateus, but any thoughts about what's just been said about automated processes?
Yes, uh, just a brief comment. When you see a software that will try to sell or doing this service of automation, they will always be a lot complex because they have years of development and trying to make us something, a company or a service as most as automatically possible. So it will always be complex. Focus on the small details, as Dogo said. And I have a small background on industry. I have a technical in industrial mechanics that I did for 2 years. And it's really to understand this automation process, it's really good to compare with the industry side. Like when you have an industry of that are trying to build cars, for example, see what part of the building a car that is taking more time. See how can we change, how can we make it more efficient? If it's just a small thing, but it can increase 5% of your time, it's really relevant. So focus on the small part, see what are you taking time, see how can you implement it in a like build a plan to implement it and without it taking out the too much of your time to developing it or to applying it. And remember that for this you need probably training and people understanding how this automatic process will work.
No, I agree, Mateus. Yep, no, I agree. I think that there's but that this sort of focus of semi-automation of going on a scale up step incremental basis, I think is key as in what you've said. The two comments and then a question. Thank you again for it. And some advice and some comments. So if you're running an incubator, then that there are many AI tools that can be purchased on a subscription basis, and they can be provided to your incubatees. Thank you for that. Was a one of the comments in the chat. Many thanks indeed for that. Also some thoughts here, which I think is also very insightful as well. But an effective digital transformation begins with assessing your organization's digital maturity. The real challenge is not adopting AI for its own sake, but integrating technology strategically to drive operational efficiency, organizational performance, and long-term impact. I think that's a very clear and very well-made statement and comment about the processes required, about the context in which we can use AI and other digital technologies. Mateus, any further comments on those 2 points?
No, those. I saw a comment that took my attention here. That is earlier for incubations, it is difficult to onboard experts from these no AI tools helping, and I want to add a point of it. Like as any other new technology, we don't have experts enough to use it right now. And what is the way that we solved this before is providing training for people that are inside our company and provide training for people that are joining the sector. So instead of trying to find an expert, see how much it will cost to build a new expert or something, not expert, but someone that will understand or will attend your demands, and try to see if this will not be not easier, but it will not be more efficient instead of just trying to find someone that has a lot of years of experience.
That's in response to this comment of AI tools. So I'm providing in case of early, small entrepreneurs, early stage startups. Some of the tools are website making, branding development strategies, flyers, logos, products, packaging design. And this is the point which I think you're responding to, Mateus, which is earlier for incubators, it is difficult to onboard experts, and I think that's the point that you were responding to. Thank you. There's one other specific question as well, which is I am looking for, and apologies if I don't read this out correctly. I am looking for a very low AI image talking for adverts. So I think it's to do with AI AI tools or AI tools that can be used for initial marketing and advertising. I believe that's the point of the question. Olayemi, my apologies if I have misunderstood.
Okay. In the next part, the part C, we have some of the tools, some recommendation for tools for that. But just giving a brief introduction to that. We have right now a lot of different tools that we can use for generate images, generate content, and free ones are really, they are not easy to find, but for a while, Copilot was one that could be really useful for that. And the Gemini also, they were free for a time, and they have accounts that let you create some content, some material, and learning how to do the efficient profit, even with the small requests, you can build some good material to use for advertisement and similar tasks.
There's another comment which I'm going to read out now, which I think is very, very relevant from, and I apologize for the name, Srinis. Srins. I agree with the speakers, but kindly understand that there's little time in this fast world. AI augmenting day by day, limiting your digital tools only for incubatees. So AI tools also create risk for big organizations. So we will not utilize them for official documents and not limit them in providing start services to your startups. I think, Mateus, you went at the session, but Susanna Seabra in the previous session was rather making another related point that, of course, there is a risk with AI tools. Part of that risk is an opportunity cost. Part of that risk is other types of technological and strategic risks as well. So I think when you were talking about those 5 layers, really, and I think today as well, we really want to make sure that this aspect of how to use AI effectively in a positive manner, but without taking away from the nature of the incubator of the incubator, without taking away from the nature and the concept and the focus of the entrepreneur it's quite a hard line to walk down. I think there's definitely some risks and rewards and mitigation methods and excellent planning required to ensure that this can be done. Mateus, that's a reasonable comment, yes?
Yes, yes, it is a good comment. I think all technologies will have a risk. I think every time we try something different, there is a risk, and we need to see if the trade-off is capable of paying this risk. And of course, using risk management tools that will support you to build in a way that the risk will be, you will have a plan to deal with each risk that you're going to work with.
Excellent. Thank you, Mateus. And one other comment was they liked someone liked, sorry, someone, I had Dennis. Dennis says he likes the quote on the screen, so maybe we can come back to the slides then, and go forward until we have a break in a few minutes time or so. So please go ahead then with the rest of the slides.
So the next slide is a question. So we may think about what are your demands of learning on AI. So let me activate it.
if you could activate it, I've also put, which I hope is the right thing on thing on the screen. It says in mine, but there are no active polls at the moment. Is that correct?
Yes, for me as well, Douglas. It says that there
Yeah, just give us a second to set it up. Is
Yeah,
that okay,
yeah.
Matthias?
I need a second, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, now it's working.
Are you sure the link says no active?
yes, I still have the same message as well.
Maybe you could put the right link in the chat, please, Matthias. I think you probably. My apologies if I put the wrong one. The QR code works, yeah, and my apologies.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
had indeed put the wrong link in. My apologies.
Now it works with the link too. Thank you.
Matthias, this is about the layers, yes? So maybe to have a slide, could you show the slide on the layers? Fabio, just to confirm, it's the second link, not the link I put up. It's the second link which Matthias put up, or the QR code. My apologies, Fabio, for doing it incorrectly first. Matthias, are we
Yeah,
getting any so far?
we'll give some seconds to answer with the links,
Yeah, because there were.
the layers,
There's
and then
also
I
a
will share
question,
the.
where is the attendance link? I apologize, Christina. Is that a question about attendance? If it's a question about the Slido, it's the link which Matthias has shown in the chat. And maybe Matthias, you can go back to the slide with the QR code as well, so that people can use
Yeah,
that.
I'm not sure. I think they meant the slide on.
Thank you.
There is one more person typing, and I will share the results. Here we have it. So
Okay.
there is a lot of fifth and some management ones also. That's the number one that's in the center. So yeah, that's the first layer for fifth. And I believe there's a lot of third layer as well. Okay.
Yeah, so we got
Yeah.
first, third, fifth. Yeah.
Yep.
But there's some interesting language there as well. Artificial intelligence for EdTech. Um, and startup management and tracking obviously is layer one.
Layer one.
Yeah. And then remind me, artificial intelligence for EdTech, Matthias, is that a specific layer?
Mm, Not sure. No, it's
Yeah, so
not.
it could fit into anything. Okay.
Yeah, we are going to talk about AI specifically in the next part. So maybe it will already give you a support on it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I don't think we've got anyone else writing, so thank you for all those answers. And We appreciate them, and we will make sure. Um, just one second.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If you could share the slides. Just of course,
Yeah.
when we upload the slides and make the slides available, we'll of course use the Slido results. We'll include the Slido results in those. Just one second as we get the slides back on screen.
I think now it's working, right?
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, that's working now. So we're seeing this. Yeah. So if you please, I don't see any other comments. Of course, please do continue to provide comments as you can see. Um, we will answer them as we go through. If anyone wants to raise their hand and make a point or a comment or a question verbally, then please just do. I think we have a good number of participants here, but I think we can get conversations going as well. So please do that at any time. In the current absence of any further comments, maybe I can ask you to continue, Matthias. We've been going for just over an hour now. I would say, if Christina, if this is okay, another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we can take a break.
Yeah, sure,
Thanks.
sure.
So Matthias, please carry on.
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to start the AI part of the presentation. That is AI inside pictures. And we'll have another slide for this first question. So with this answer, we can see what parts we focus better on the next part of the section. So
Thank you, Matthias. Could you put
this is, I will share the link.
Yes, thank you. I think we've already had some good comments about how AI is being used from a few people in the comments. Um, so thank you so much. But I think if one could also populate the Slido, and of course that means that we can record these comments in what's provided, and indeed try to make sure that we cover all the points, the relevant points in the next hour and a half or so. Thank you, Matthias. The link is now
Just
also in
send
the
the
chat.
link. Yes, perfect.
I think the point here is just for anyone who would like to answer is just put any ideas that you might have, because then I think we can target down on these in the next subsession.
We'll have the first answer that is research, but
Mhm.
could you specify what part of research, what kind of research the AI may help?
Matthias, once we have the two or three different answers, maybe we can put it on the screen so that people can see what other people are answering, and maybe that'll jog some ideas.
Here it goes.
Great, fantastic.
ChatGPT, the big one at the moment, drafting, improving content. We are going to talk this, and a lot of this GPT can do.
Mhm.
Ideas, communication, research. Those are really data-driven ones. So with more information you can provide, the AI can provide better results, analysis as well. Paraphrasing GPT is good, but most of them also can do this, like Gemini and Cloud AI. Cloud AI has a lot of focus on programming, maybe to help with the scripts part. Efficiency, I believe AI in general has this focus. So depending where you want to have efficiency to go.
We've got a number of people still typing, so let's. I think we have
Yes.
plenty of time to allow for this. Very interesting indeed.
Yes, yes. This is really good. Content research, okay, perfect.
Yeah. There's a nice word there, planning as well, Matthias, that someone has identified using AI for effectively
Yes.
strategic planning, which of course is a level beyond some of the other activities.
Yes. And you can use AI to provide the planning for most of all the other tasks that other activities that were typed here.
Very practical example of writing a proposal there as well, which is of course
Writing
very
proposal.
relevant. Yes. So
Yes.
I think we have one more person typing, but anything we haven't mentioned there as yet? Matthias uh, from the
I'd
Word.
like to give a focus on the data analytics side. That's really good.
Mhm.
I didn't saw compliance before, but now I have it. But I think that's it from my side.
No, I like the idea of strategic planning there and risk analysis there, which the word risk is there. So I think that's and the general project management support and assistance and support. Yes, I think that's these are all very interesting. We've still got one or two people typing, so let's have another 30 seconds or so to make sure that we keep everyone's we record everyone's points.
Taking notes, I believe it's one of the most common uses of AI nowadays. Almost all meetings or presentations, we have some AIs doing this. Each software like Zoom or the other ones has one on the system that you can uh, pay it or buy the service. So for doing that, proof of reading, it's interesting one, really interesting one.
Something's just come up. Maybe I didn't see it before. Getting creative ideas, how AI can be used to help
Yeah,
creativity process, not just monitoring, etc., and the automation process, but creativity process there.
and this is one of the biggest discussion on the AI side that is AI creative? Because AI in general are gigantic statistics models of words and numbers. So it's just repeating what we created in our history. So is this
Excellent.
creativity? That's a really
That's
interesting discussion. I
it
don't
is a
think we are
very
going
interesting
through
question.
today, but
Excellent.
I
So
don't.
I think again, many thanks for all the inputs there. We'll certainly be recording those. I think we've been through them. I apologize if there was one or two which we hadn't. If that's the case, then just please put a note in the chat, and we'll make sure that we deal with it. And maybe we can go on. Mateus, I would say, it's 10 minutes past the hour now. I would say another ten minutes before having a break. Would that be reasonable, Mateus?
Okay. Yes, yes,
Okay, so
I
please
think
go on.
so.
Yes.
Let me share the right screen. So so let's start with the context. I've got this image here that is to show you one simple thing that AI, usually when you have AI, usually when you have any technology, you will have an image of a really big city as Singapore, New York, or São Paulo, or other big city in the world with high level, high ending buildings. Dubai also is one common image for these topics. But nowadays, in 2026, AI is not new. It's not something that is starting the market. It's not something that a new concept, or the concept of AI has more than 50 years. So it's something that is part of our life daily. If you pick any part of this image, you can already, someone is already using AI for it. Like this image could be made by AI. It was not, but still, like you can have cars with AI. You already have cars with AI. You have mobile phones that part of their operational system is built and made using AI, and it is already using AI to provide the tasks that we are having on this. There's marketing that's made with AI to track people behavior and has personalized campaign for uh, sometimes individuals, but most of the times is for specific target groups. And this all is just to explain that AI is part of our society nowadays. It's not something that it's of course something that there is a lot of discussion, there is a lot of concerns, there is a lot of risk, as we spoke before, but it's not a new concept, it's not a new thing. It's already part of what we are as humans in general. Complementing the context of AI, instead of we having decisions that are fully based on human experience or human concern, or even what a human is capable of analyzing itself, like we had a lot how the decisions were made before. Those people that were capable of understanding a marketing, doing researches that were survey on the target groups, surveys with other surveys or interviews with other people that understand the context, understand the market. Nowadays, we can have uh, millions of different informations, thousands of different informations, and we can use AI to facilitate the understanding of those data, those informations, and provide uh, support for the decisions, provide support for how we are going to manage our business, how we are going to manage our context. Uh, Before we have restricted, but still large and diverse data sets. Now we can have infinite data sets. We can even use AI to construct, following a specific statistics model, more data, so we can understand better patterns, understand better behaviors, and even large data sets we can work with. Previously, we had a lot of it was depending on manual process, and nowadays, as we were talking before, again, the automation is part of really part of our AI use that is making simple tasks, making or even complex tasks that were repetitive. And nowadays, we can automatically do it with AI and provide faster solutions using it. The analysis previously were doing slower if you compare of how we do the analysis nowadays. There is an interesting concept. I forgot the name of who wrote this concept, but it was not concept, it was a practical thing that happened that was explaining that each 18 or 15 years, I'm not sure, we are capable of process using hardware, using computers, the double of what we were capable of process before. So it's a logarithmic scale that has its limitations. We are reaching those limitations nowadays. But the meaning of it is that when we had the first computers, the first automatically systems, they were not capable of understanding as much as we as human were. But nowadays they are really faster in the analytical side and the insight side. So using AI, we can uh, it can support us to understand a context or create providing a new insight really faster than it was before. And the experimentation and feedback loops was really slowly, but this created not all this changed not only with AI, but also with the technology itself. Now we can provide free trials of our product, service uh, in a world level and collect the feedback when the person used the product or used the service. And 1 week after, we already have the feedback. So uh, in social science, mostly when you are trying a campaign or when you are trying to test a product, you give a product for the person and you ask again in third months after using or a week, depending which kind of product we are providing. But we had to find the person, the individual that is our target group, check if they want to be part of the campaign. And nowadays we can do this worldwide. So we have a lot more connectivity with people. And this way we can reach faster testing and scale our data really fast. So now we are going to speak a bit about the platforms. Uh, I don't know how much time it passed. Do you want to do the pause now, Douglas, or later?
Um, I'm not sure. Christina, what do you think? Should we have a small break before getting into some very specific platform examples? I don't think she is there. No problem. Maybe
Yeah,
we just.
sorry, did you say something, Douglas?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering in terms of timing, we'd be happy to take like a 10 or 15-minute break now before getting into some practical examples. It might be an opportune time to do so.
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, I think now it's 18, so maybe half past if we can start. That's 12 minutes.
I think that would be fine. So we're half past. Matthias, that's 12 minutes. I hope everyone is
Perfect.
okay with that.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll see you back at.
Can you start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Then please go ahead, Matthias. Thank you. And
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for everyone returning from their break. We appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. So, just talking briefly about what we spoke in the context of AI adventures. Uh, our world, the world that we live nowadays, it's already living with AI by our sides everywhere. So we need to start thinking how to use it, how to make it part of our organizations, how to make it efficient for us, but not because it's new, not because it's something that uh, people are not using yet. It's because everyone is already using it. And this is just a tool that we need to understand, to learn, and use it properly, understand the risk, manage the risks, and make it efficient. And at the end is a tool that can make our life easier, sometimes can be harder. So we need to plan, we need to understand. And this is why we have this section here to talk about a bit of it. So, uh, in this moment, I would like that when you have any questions about any AI that I show on the screen, you ask about it and we can talk about the aspects of it, when we should use it, and how we should use it. And I will bring also some examples on how to use each one of them. But well, let's go. This four that we are having in the screen right now, it's ChatGPT, Cloud AI, Gemini, and Copilot. Those are the four biggest ones that we have right now, at least in the our part of the world. China has some really good ones that are new ones, but most of them are built with Chinese as Mandarin as basis of the system. So it can work different from these ones that the base of the system is English. And let me give you a context about those AIs. So OpenAI is the biggest one nowadays. They are working on the system from years ago, more than 10 years. I believe more than 20 years now already. And they created a system that is a structure for generating new information using the previous information that they provide, the data that they use for training, and build it. They make it numbers and they make it as most as statistically probable. So AI is not intelligence. AI is really, really strong statistical software for providing randomness. But when we provide the proper information, the proper input, it can provide the information that we are searching for. ChatGPT is one that it had a boom in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2020. And they were the first one that we could interact as, and it will feel that we are talking with something near to a human, something that can understand our words and provide precisely a proper answer, sometimes a good answer, sometimes a bad answer, and sometimes an answer that doesn't make any sense, that we call this hallucination, that AI does a lot when they get lost in the prompt that we request. So for these four AIs, I would like to say that, okay, those are the best for this, and this. But this is not practically right because in the practice, every day they are updating, every day they are changing, every day they are creating models that are more specific for one area, they are more specific for other area. So at the moment, we have Cloud AI that's really good for content, for coding. Copilot that is really good for working with a lot of documents. Gemini is also really good for working with a lot of documents, but Copilot is more in the business side and Gemini is more in the research side. Well, this makes complete sense as we have Copilot from Microsoft that is working with companies for a lot more than Google, but Google is working a lot with research. So they're really good on the same thing, but in different perspectives. And ChatGPT, that at the moment they are the best for creating text. They are the best for creating text and general system materials. So what's more relevant for each of one of these AIs is that you need to understand how to request the proper information. What is the most efficient way to request the content that they will provide? So ChatGPT, if you go for the version 3.0, if you go for the version 4.0, if you go for the version 5.2, that has a thinking long term, a thinking short term, a thinking automatic way, that has an analytical side. Each one of them will have a structure of ideal request. And this is the key point of using each one of those AIs. If we understand how to request the information that we want, it will help us to use it properly for different areas. Like you can use GPT for coding, even if it's not the best as Cloud AI, but with the right prompt, on GPT, it will provide a good result. If you don't provide a good input, a good request for Cloud AI, it will not give you a good result. So this is the idea that you should have with those AIs. That is understanding how to request on each one of them. And if you masterize this, if you became a master on creating these properties, you can use it not only for text, but you can use it for formulate planning. You can use it for formulate evaluation of a content that you provide. You can use it for the image side that we are going to talk a little bit later. And you can use it, and you will have good answers. You will have good prompts at the end. Here are some use examples on how of these AIs. For content creation and marketing purpose, GPT is really good on write blog posts, is good on writing newsletters, is good on write social media captions, images, and for the material itself. You can, and it has a free version, so most of them has a free version. Cloud, I don't think has, but Gemini and GPT and Copilot, the three of them have it. And if you write the right prompts, they will not create the information from nothing. We can talk if you have any questions about the prompt structure, if you have any specific idea that you think it's relevant to question right now, we can talk about this more focus.
There's a question
But
here, Matthias, which
okay.
might be a useful time to have it straight away. It's just come in. A common fact is that in Gen AI tools are designed to please the person who asks the prompts without challenging or critiquing much, sorry, which can result in vague, generic responses. And so there's a point here. There's a question. Is there a way to make the AI tools more critical and neutral?
So, yes, we can do that. I will give you the example of some uses that I had previously when I was starting using GPT. This was an issue. It was always giving, accepting what I was saying to the AI. So if I say that something is right, it will believe that something is right. We did a joke about that was repeat what I say, and we say something like scores in football is made by hand, and it will repeat what you said because it's made for make you happy, even if it's not true, even if it's not if it doesn't make any sense. So what we do to solve it? The prompt, you can use the prompt to solve it. You can put in the prompt lines that will say, please review this in a serious way. Not this, but specifically, I'll give a better example. So we are reviewing a document on marketing, and we want the document to be criticized. So in the first line, we say what is the perspective that we want for this project. This is the case of GPT. So you are critical consultants from Big Four, from a big company, consultant company, and you need to analyze your colleagues' work. This analysis needed to answer four areas, and you give the information that want it to be analyzed, and one of the lines before is you need to be neutral. You need to work as neutral as possible. You need to revise online all the information provided. And if the information is true, provide the source. If it's not, if you did not found the proper information, please highlight this information and build questions to deal with this issue. And this is just an example of prompt that may help with this case. So yes, you can make it more straight. You can make it more. Also, you can use it in other way to make the review more not weak, but not as harsh as it can be. So it's about the prompt. It's about the request that we do for the AI, how it will answer. If you don't provide any requests, if you don't provide any specific uh, information about it, on how you want to answer, it will be always be positive, it always be as much as neutral as possible. Not neutral, but more please as possible. So they are made to be like this because in the training they saw that it will be more acceptable this way. So it's part of a hard coded part that we cannot change for everything, but we can change in the prompt itself. Another example for those AIs that I was talking about is Cloud using for summarize meeting. Like we use an AI to record all the meeting, we send it to Cloud and we request it to summarize in bullet points, to summarize the structure that we want. We provide the structure and we can ask questions on the Cloud and it will be like, using only the information that I provided, please tell me what we talk about these points and bring the specific part of the discussion. We need to provide a prompt that will provide exactly what we need in this sense. And for business analytics, we can use Gemini to provide analysis of market trends or generate insights from reports. So what we do is we structure the data in a CSV file mostly or other information data structure. CSV is the most common, so that's why I recommend to use it. And the AIs are prepared to read it, but could be a text file. What matters is that the structure is proper organized. We have the question, the name, what the question stands for. We have the answers one below another. We have all the slots filled, even if it's zero or something to do is consider. So you do a step organizing those informations, organize everything to fit on what we need. And we provide it to Gemini, we provide it to GPT, and asking what we need to do with those informations. Other AIs that we have is the DALL-E, Canva, and Journey, but those, oh, just a moment. Mm, not sure. So, okay, going back to this part. It was a question that we had previously that was about how we can use image creation or design creation to advertisement or to create any kind of promotion. So, the same way that we do with the text side, we have AIs that were training to create images, to create figures, to create logos, to create different kind of materials. Three of them is the DALL-E, that is part of the GPT, the Canva, that has nowadays a specific part of Canva that is with AI. If I'm not mistaken, it also uses DALL-E, but is adapted inside the Canva AI. And also we have Midjourney, that is a competitor of all of them. If you have any question how they are made, we can talk a bit about it, but I will focus on how to use them. So we can use Canva AI to create a post, to create a promotion material, to create advertisement. And inside the Canva, we go for the AI part and we prepare a prompt, and the prompt will provide the material that we want. One tip, one idea for improving the prompt use is to create these prompts using other AI. Like GPT is good is to create text. And we have materials that provide the proper structure for a prompt. So you can send these materials to GPT. You can ask, I need to request a visual for Canva AI. Could you write a prompt for me that will fulfill the needs that I have? And could be a promotion that will have the target group entrepreneurs. You want to have a neutral voice, neutral communication, and the GPT will provide a prompt that you can use to Canva AI or Midjourney or other AI, or even request for other text generations, Gemini, Copilot, and others that you think could be useful. Other use for the image and design generation AI tools is product mockup. So you are building a product that you don't have yet the visual idea, the visual final version of it. So you request, you explain what's your product, what look like.
Hi, just 1 second. My apologies. I think we've just lost Mateus. Just give me 1 second, Christina.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. Our apologies. We just had a power outage on Mateus's computer. Give us 1 minute to get his computer back up. Christina, is that understand?
Yes, of course. Thanks a lot, Douglas.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Just give me 1 second for us to sort it out.
thank you.
Thank you for putting it into the chat as well. Christina, just as Mateus is resetting up his computer,
Yes.
just to mention that, of course, as Mateus is going through these examples, if people have experiences themselves of using any of these in particular tools or other tools which they prefer, then we would be very happy indeed to hear from that, either in the chat or in putting a hand up and having a discussion on it.
Indeed, thanks, Douglas. And yeah, don't
And
hesitate to raise your hands as well if you prefer speaking up and asking a question rather than typing in the chat. Thank you.
excellent.
Okay, I'm back. Let
Excellent.
me
Thanks,
share my
Mateus.
screen.
Whilst you were away, we were just highlighting that if anyone had any examples of any experience of using any of these tools or otherwise, just to please put their hands up and to put a comment in the chat or put their hand up to discuss. But Mateus, are you able to put the slides back on the screen?
Oh, could you give me permission again?
Yes,
No, I have it. Perfect.
okay. Fantastic. Thanks, Mateus.
Okay. Now I have camera as well. Thank you very much, and sorry for the small technical issue. Let's go back for the image design and design creation with AI. So I was talking about the product mockup. So you can explain what product you have, you can explain your background, what kind of colors do you want, what material is made of your product. and you can create a mockup in seconds that can help and accelerate the process. Also, you can use Dolly for creation of logos, and you can use all of them for identity and visual directions for your company. So, some risks of using image and generation is that sometimes the material that you're going to create, sometimes the material that the video, the image, the design, it's not real. It's not, of course, it's not real, but it can be detected as AI and can be seen, and like people, some big mistakes can be in the image. Like, for example, you ask an image of a family and someone has 3, 4 eyes, someone has a lot of fingers that was not supposed to have, and the image created is not doesn't represent the real world. So, and it may happen with houses without properly door, houses with windows in places that doesn't make any sense, some trees that can be showing up flying, some image of animals in the places that doesn't make sense for them to be. So when you create an image using an eye or any design similar material, you need to check the material. Most of the times you're gonna need someone that understand images to edit it, to improve the quality, to make it feel really real. So it's not just create an image and post it. It's create an image, analyze the image, understand how we can improve it, understand what doesn't make any sense, and bring a quality for fast work. So every day it's getting better. The production, it is creating less mistakes, it creates less hallucinations for the images, but it's still a process. It is fast, but there's a risk of doesn't make sense the image itself. Here we have two examples for video and media creation. If we go back to this, Midjourney also create videos. DALL-E also create videos. So I'm trying to bring different examples so you can try. You can check which one makes more sense for you. You can see which one fits more your process inside your incubator, and you have a bigger possibilities of understanding and see what is better for you. So we have Runaway, that's really good for video editing and generation, and Synthesia, that's good for AI avatars and incorporated video and training. So at one side, you have array recording, you have array material that you want just to be edited and you are complemented, that you can use Runway. And the other side, you have a presentation, and you want the presentation to be more formal, to be more human-like, but you don't have anyone that will be the front person on this presentation in this video. So you can use Synthesia to create the avatar of a person that will be talking with the people, will be talking the content that you create and set. Again, it has the same issue as a video. It can create hallucinations, and you need to review, you need to check. In the AI avatars, it's really common the mouth to not fit the word that it was supposed to say. So, as I say, it is getting better with time, but it still need a review. It still need to check if it makes sense. Sometimes you need more than one input. Sometimes you need to ask someone to edit it, to adapt it to feel what you're searching for. So you can use Synthesia for creating trainings. You can use Runaway for creating or adapting or create or editing short promotional videos for your company. And both of them can use for social media clips. depend on what is your objective on this kind of content. What is the content that you need to create and how do you want it to look like? Another platforms that these ones are common for the customer support and sales. So have Intercom for AI-powered customer support, have Drift for conversations, AI searching for create a sale. You have HubSpot for marketing, sales, and customer relationship management automation. So these two are in a really interesting area of working for me, that's marketing, that is talking and interacting with customers. So you have usually what they do is like we have a big FAQ, a really big FAQ of question that our customers use it to question about, and we have the answer or something that will guide the AI to provide an answer. So I have a long document that will explain our process inside. And for the customer support, for the sales, or and some part of marketing, you will have a bot that will follow this fact in every question that the person has to go back to the fact. For example, what is the size of our product? And we have this question in the fact, and we have the information of the product. Or we have a file with information of our products, and it will go for the product that we want to be sold, or that we want to be, they were talking about, and they will check this information and they will provide this information from the data that we have. Also, we have the CRM automation, that is customer relationship management. That is a different layer. That's a really big layer where it's everything, every contact that we have with a customer. It will every part of this interaction, since the sales, since the after sales, since the marketing funnel, all of the interactions that we have, awareness, uh, until the final decision-making part of the funnel. So the customer relationship management automation, it's a really, really interesting part. And if you're startups that you are working with in your incubator, work with sales, this one you may take a better look and understand better because this can improve really a lot your sales. So for these AI platforms, oh, one thing extra, as I said before, the previous AI that I was talking about, they do similar activities as this one. Like GPT has the agent model that you can adapt inside to talk with people. And you can have a lot of agents that will be running at the same time that will be talking with different people. It's not a GPT, custom GPT, it's the agent model itself. And you can use also for your personal site. If you want to buy a product or search for a product or search for competitors, you can use agent and it will work like a human searching on internet and you can see everything that the AI is doing and understand about about your market, understand what people are seeing when they search products similar to yours. So there is some layers that you can use, even the previous AIs, for activities that these specific AIs can do, and they are made for those ones, adapted and make it more efficient for me. So about the customer support and sales activities, we have the automate support that when I think this is really common nowadays when we are searching for a product in a website. Sometimes it show up a small pop-up with an image of the logo of the company or an avatar, and it will ask, do you want to buy this product? Do you want more information? It will pop up like it was a message from WhatsApp or Facebook or the previews or a similar message. But it is automated support that will help you or to sales or to solve an issue that you had with the product or the company. the consumer relationship management and marketing automation that I already spoke with, that you can manage your leads, you can automate follow-ups, so you can create rules that each 3 months it will send an email with a promotion, it will send a newsletter, it will send some kind of information that you are trying to make your lead become your customer. So, and when a client already bought from you 1 year before or 6 months before, you can do another follow-up, showing new products, trying to bring back the client for your company. And the conversational sales, that the idea is this pop-up, is this engagement with your website visitors to make or any qualified leads. If you do by email, it may work. But it is trying to sell a product, trying to give you more information, it's trying to give you a code or a promotion that will make the client buy from you, the lead buy from you, or even find new leads or qualifying new leads. Another AIs, in this case for automation and workflows, we have Zapier to connect apps and automate workflows. I believe GPT nowadays you can connect apps also already. Gemini, you can connect apps with all Google ecosystem. Copilot, you can connect the apps with all Microsoft ecosystem. So our Windows has Copilot already inside it. When we open any PowerPoint or Word, it has already an option to use Copilot on it. So we have Make, that is text to video generation. So it will help to building text and creating the videos. And we have open source automation, good for custom setups, that is the new. So the idea here is, instead of using only one software, only one project, you will automate a process that may go from creating a document and sending to someone already, or creating a connection between your phone, that every time you receive a email, sorry, you connect to your email, every time you receive an email about your ticket, it will already put in the list of printing on your computer. So when you turn on your computer, it will send it to your printer, or it will already send to your printer. And every time you receive the email, it will already print your ticket for your flights, for your booking. So you can create this kind of automation in the personal side, and in the incubator side, you can gather connect the SurveyMonkey email that you are going to send, or MailChimp email that you're gonna send to your startups. And when you receive the email back, it will already create a CSV file that this CSV file can be sent to Power BI, and it will already create a new section for the update. Or you can write Python code or any code that you work with. So it will already add, when you receive back the email, it will already add the information from the new survey below the previous survey. So you will always have this interaction automatically. You can do the same for the uh, generate memorandums that you do a meeting, or for meetings, like you have an AI that will transcribe all the meeting. Then this app, so you can connect with this AI to download this AI, the information. It will generate report, it generates information, and you send by mail for your colleagues. So depend on what you want to do. Each one of them will have the limitations, but if you know coding, if you know someone that knows coding, you can use this AI and support and automate a lot of different services. Even GPT is easily automated nowadays. Here, there's some more examples. that is a company use Zapier to automatically capture leads from the forums and send them to a CRM platform. For internal process, a team use Make to automate invoice generation and send notifications. Or you can use the Teach Savvy to build tailored automations between systems. It's open source service, so that means that there is no cost and everything built on it is by the community. So in this case, it can be really open, the possibilities that you can do, but usually it needs more time to work with it, but the cost is really low if you compare with the other competitors. Some AI for coding development. We have Copilot again, but in the GitHub integration, we have the replicate, but if you get the text once, they are already good on coding, and as you give the right prompt, it may support this part. With the GitHub integrated with Copilot, you can write codes faster. This is something that may connect with vibe coding. That means that you are not writing line or each line of the. Sorry.
Some research. And I was looking at digital scales.
Listening someone.
Yes, I believe that someone is speaking up, Emmanuel. Okay, maybe it was not addressed towards us, I'm not sure.
I don't think so, Matthias. Maybe if you continue, if someone wants to talk, then just put their hand up and we'll make sure that we listen.
Okay. So for the coding, just complementing the vibe coding part, it's like as the AIs are capable of generating different codings, you can use generating context and texts and coding lines. You can use AIs to create codes and just adapt them and correct and check it instead of coding all the lines that you can. Also, you can use for prototyping products. So you can build a quick and minimal viable product with an AI that can be a software, can be can be a software that will be sold or software as a service, but then use AI to build this code, build the software. And also, a team can use Cursor to identify bugs and improve the code performance. This is a really common use that is sending your code for the AI and it will check what is this mistakes, what is the issues, and how to solve it. And for the end, we have the data analytics, that we have the business intelligence with AI that is connected with the Power BI. We have the AQ, and we have the Tableau. And the same way, as I said before, you can use the for ones for the text if you adapt enough to your prompt, but those ones will be more efficient for the purpose. So for the data analytics, someone can use the Power BI with Copilot to generate dashboards or insights on the data that they provide. A team can use Tableau to present complex data in a clear visual format. So again, presenting in a dashboard format, and can use the IQ to forecast customer behavior and sales outcomes. Okay. For this section, I think that's it. We can go for the questions. Sorry, Douglas, please.
No, carry on. I think we've got one rather small subsection still to go. So there's plenty of time for all comments and all points. I think this is our last slide. Oh, yes, Matthias. I think this is please, please do if we can put the comment there. I'm sorry, the link onto the chat as well. I know we've called on people for their inputs a lot, but I think this is the last question would be interesting because it also allow us to understand and other people to understand which tools are more commonly used by the various participants today. It's still on the previous question on the
Does it change it?
let's have a look at it. No, it says which layer would you like to learn about more in a future workshop?
I think now it's changed.
Okay, you check, a chance to check. Oops. Yes, which AI tools do you use? And maybe if you could put the link in the chat as well, Mateus.
Done.
We're getting some responses now, I think, Mateus. So
Yes, I'm gonna share the screen. Perplexit is one that is having a lot of space nowadays, that it's not in the presentation, but it's really, really good to take a look on it. Okay.
does it have any specific features, Mateus?
It's similar to the four big ones that I sent in the first one. So it's very text-based, but it works good for coding as well. Grok is the one from X that you can use freely inside of the X network. So it's also really, really interesting, but it has a software website, if I'm not mistaken. And it's also really big.
I think one more participant and then a exit.
The ChatGPT got really, really good attention because it was the first one. So I'll explain why it's the biggest here. It's the one that most people use. Gemini also is from Google, so it has a lot of attention. DeepSeek is one Chinese that's really good as well, and it's also free. Meta AI is interesting. They have connection with the other social medias as the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. The Canva that you
Mateus, on a
said,
related aspect,
Grammarly.
sorry, carry on, please, Mateus.
Grammarly, I think, and Quillbot is really interesting because it's really related to writing in English. So correction, adjusting, and Quillbot is used for detect if it's AI or not. So to make to try to make the text more human or to identify if the text that we receive is AI based or not.
What I was going to say, Mateus, is there was a comment which we probably didn't have a chance to see in the chat saying we can use AI Companion in Zoom to ask questions about what was said and that it helps a lot.
Yes. After meetings, you can ask it, you can use it, and it's really interesting. And it's the same logic as having the text of the meeting and sending to one different AI and asking for the information. Like it works really similar.
I don't think we've got anyone else answering the Slido, so we've got a lot of replies there. Thank you. Any other points from what's shown on the slide? Any other examples which you think are worth highlighting?
No, I think I spoke about most of them.
Okay, very good.
Perplexity got more attention in the last part of the, but yeah, it's big and it's also really good. So I think we can go further. We had the questions, but if you want to do any question, please just write. We can go back here. It's really fun. So the last part of the presentation, it's about how can incubator models be redesigned for new technology. We're going to talk about two different things here. That the first one is a little bit of models. The next one is more a bit about level of AI maturity inside your incubator. So because of the AI being part of our daily routine and all these advances, all these new technologies that came with AI, we have some not necessarily different models of incubation or incubators, but they are more like complementation or adapt or using AI, using the technologies to adapt for this new context that we live. As incubators are strongly connected with startups that are making to solve people issues. It's expected that AI will be a constant part of it and it will change a bit the environment. So the venture student model, that is a model that is with building the startup together with the founders. So they are part of the team. So one example of it is the Rocket Internet, a network-based incubation that fits an accelerator structure that is trying to create an ecosystem of mentors, investors, and partners, but they are not physically together, but they are connected internationally by all the internet, all the communication systems that can have. And the example that I bring for this is the Techstars. We have the distribute incubation that a good example is Founders Institute, that instead of having a specific place, it's an incubation that an incubator system that has a presence in a lot of different places and can make efforts to be even remotely. So it will be a structure that will be focused on the international market since the beginning. Outcome-based incubation dash accelerator. It's a part of it's adaptation of incubators, but it fits really well in the acceleration context. So it's aligned support of measures startups progress, such as product validation, revenue, or market traction, rather than fixed programs in duration. So each incubator, each one will focus on the outcomes, will be adapted to fulfill the specific needs of it. So each incubation process will be different, not following a specific structure. Y Combinator is this example, that's accelerator. And sandbox incubation that created controlled environments where the startups can test their solutions inside the ecosystem. So it will provide the perfect scenario for the test, the solution that they are trying to develop. And after this test, You collect as much as data as possible and do decisions and finish the incubation part. The example of it is the Financial Conduct Authority. So, sorry. Yeah, it's this one. Sorry. So, for the AI, I want to bring a concept that's a mix of concepts from different consultants company, different tech organizations. That is the AI maturity levels for incubators. So it's to understand what's your connection with AI, if it's already part of your incubation system, or if it's still in the beginning. So we have the awareness where you understand that exist. Issues,
Mateus,
but it's still sorry.
There was a delay with the noise with the voice on my end. I do not doubt this if
Okay.
but now I think now I can hear you.
Okay.
Now for others.
So
Thanks.
I will start again the design. So the AI maturity levels for incubators is a mix of concept of techs and other big consultants companies that try to understand how connected with incubators with AI your incubators are, your incubator is. So we have the first level, that is the awareness one, that you understand what is AI, you understand that this tool exists, and you want to see, you will use it for specific situations, for specific issues, in more individual side. You have the experimentation side that I believe most of you already passed through the site, but it was the pilot use of AIs. It's understand how they work, is trying to create short systems, it's trying to gather the information that you need, build some workflows with AI, but it still has a limited value for the organization, limited result. I believe for the use that you are having with AI, or the questions that we shared before and with your answers, I believe most of you are already in the operational integration with AI that are trying to improve the use of AI in your daily routine, adding for repeatable process, but for in more long structure. So instead of having one specific AI only for collecting information from a meeting, you already have for developing documents and dashboards of the results of this meeting. So it's a little bit more extended, the use of it. And you have the level 4 and level 5, the last ones. The level 4, that's the driven incubation, that you already have a lot of dashboards made all by AI. The process came from collecting informations to developing the dashboards, to provide the insights, to some AIs that you are developing has already personalized support and features for each part of your process. So you already understand, you are using it, you understand the risks, you are managing the risks, and you are going for a way that your incubator will most of the process will be automatically done, and you will be in the high level of use of AI, where you are not only using it, but you are supporting the development of new actions for this AI inside your company, inside your incubator, and supporting your, of course, startups on using it. So one of the classic measures for the incubators is the survival rate. So you wanted to understand how much the startups are surviving inside and after your incubation process. So this way, with AI, you can go further this process, because with the collecting more information, collecting all the process information since the beginning of the incubation to the end of the incubation. You have information to understanding better the issues of it. You understand where are you failing, what are the gaps that you need to fulfill. And this way you will not go for only survival rates, you go further, trying to minimize this as much as death rate in this case. So in this way, you will go from metrics for revenue, understand the evolution of the incubations, understand the orientation of the incubations, understand the market to reach, including cross-border expansion and partnership development. You will have information about the ecosystem engagement. You will improve the engagement between mentors, investors, and collaborators. With AI, you can support even the operational efficient in all the process inside your incubator and with the startups ones. And you can improve your impact, and you understand the impact on all levels, the social, environmental, and mission-driven goals. So, to finish it, we have the strategic reflection for incubators managers, where we have a short table just to check the points that you need to think, the points that you need to work on to improve your managing the incubator process. So maybe you should redesign the incubation model, collect informations, think about it, think about the possibilities and what you can reach with it, build the right capabilities and stack, manage the risk and scalability, and measure what matters beyond the survival. Okay.
Thank you, Matthias. Maybe go to the next slide, which is a thank you slide, I guess.
I think it's the last one, but we can skip this.
I think we should skip that because I think
Okay.
we've asked a number of slide questions. Maybe go to the next slide.
Perfect.
So
That's it.
questions? Can we ask if there's any questions or points? I think perhaps to summarize today, we tried to put it into 4 separate subsections, a sort of a contextual analysis, and then the middle core sections 2 and 3 about technology and in use in incubators and the individual AI tools and how applicable they are to different situations. Matthias, thank you so much for talking us through that because there's no one I know more than you who knows all of these tools personally and with personal experience of them also. So thank you for that. And then bring it all back together with a sort of an overview of some aspects and talking points about how how a future incubator, for instance, could look and could use certain technologies, including AI. So Matthias, thank you very much for doing that. Can I ask? We've come to the end of our material. Can I ask for any questions or any points that can be made either by the chat or if there's anyone who wants to put their hand up to make any comments? I don't see anything at the moment. Matthias, any final comments from yourselves?
Just say thank you, everyone. It was really nice to talk about AI. It's like a personal hobby for me also, besides the work itself that work with it a lot. So thank you, everyone. It was really a pleasure to be part of this project. Thank you. That's it.
My side, thank you to all the participants as well. Really do appreciate all the questions and the interaction and the points made and in the Slidos as well. Maybe hand to you, Christina.
Oops. Thank you so much, Douglas. Thank you, Mateus. Great session. I think really useful for the incubators who will hopefully apply some of these tools if they are not doing it already. And yeah, thanks a lot for all those who could participate today. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.